My name's Adam Melnyk. I'm a leadership coach and owner of Seed to Lead. And today I'm going to teach you about how to just become a leader. And this topic really came about because I was talking with one of my clients and we were just new into the coaching process. And he had the big question of, how do I become a leader? And it wasn't so much a question of, how do I get into management? Because oftentimes when people ask me, how do I become a leader? They're often asking, how do I get into management? How do I become an executive? This wasn't that question. It was a question of, how do I personally just become a leader? Maybe within a formal organization, maybe informally, but more importantly, how do I become a leader in my life? And that got us down a very interesting discussion about what is leadership and how do you even become a leader? And the first thing I always ask is, well, what is a leader? Like, what do they do? And you need to understand this, and you need to understand where a leader's power comes from before you can start saying, awesome, how do I become that individual? And you see, a leader is someone who's going to uplift an individual, they're going to guide people towards a common goal, and they're going to inspire them. Think of those very charismatic individuals that you've been around that often pull you up from the muck. They say, no, you've got this, let me help you out. They listen to you, they help consult you, they give you good feedback on how to navigate problems. These are people that you want to be around, that you listen, that you respect. These are leaders. Leaders can be anybody. I've met a ton of them. In fact, when I was talking with one manager, they were doing project management, and they said oftentimes when they're doing project management, they get stuck with their staff, and their staff end up kind of screwing over the project. Long story short. The thing that they weren't understanding is that, yes, they were a formal leader in the organization. However, the people underneath them were informal leaders, often called wolves. And if you don't respect your wolves, they eat you alive. And it is important to understand this. You have to respect them. But it's important to understand that anybody can be a leader, because ultimately, a leader is an informal title that is given to you based upon your actions, your deeds, or what you're doing. When we look at a leader's power specifically, a leader's power comes from their ability to get somebody else to act on their behalf, which means that at the end of the day, if I don't like you, I can go get somebody else to fire you from the job. If that person will act on my behalf, guess what? I have power. That is a leadership power. The individuals underneath me also give me social influence that I can then exert in a given scenario. Think about a politician that is representing 100,000 people. They can go to, for example, a meeting and throw their weight around. And the answer is, why can they throw their weight around? Because 100,000 people back them up. And if things go sideways, he can mobilize those 100,000 people to act on his behalf. That's the thing to understand. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky, which means that if you really want that power, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a leader in your own life, there's really three things I got to get you to do. You have to start commanding respect. They got to respect you. If they don't respect you, I'm sorry, they're not going to do what you want. 2, you have to have trust. People need to trust you. And 3, you need to build up goodwill. And this is where people screw up, because they often think, well, I will just tell you what to do and then you just do it. And that's not how this works. Again, if people don't like you, they are going to screw you over. I promise you that. Even in a workplace. If my manager, who I didn't like, was telling me what to do, guess what? I would screw them over. That's just how it goes. But when we build up that trust, we build up that goodwill, and we build up that respect, people will naturally give you the title of leader. People will start migrating towards you. So this is how we know that you are officially a leader. People, 1, are going to migrate towards you. 2, they're going to listen to what you have to say. 3, they're going to consult you, which means that if they have a problem, issue, or concern, they're going to look to you for answers because they respect you, they trust you, and they believe that you have their best interests in mind. So that, hey, they're going to consult you. And then 4, when you are talking, they're going to wait until you finish speaking, and then they will talk. They're not going to talk all over you. They're not going to put you down. They're not going to demean you, because at the end of the day, they're respecting you. I remember being in a bar, and there's one gentleman. I didn't know much about him, but I could just tell that he was a leader. And how I could tell was people were congregating around him. They were just around him. Not only that, when he spoke, people were listening. And then during the night, I noticed that one of the guys in the group was having a bit of trouble. This individual who was the leader came over and helped him out. And I sat there and I go, that's interesting. This individual clearly did not have a formal management role or executive role, and yet he was a leader. People were looking up to him. People were trusting him because, again, anybody can be a leader. So now that we understand kind of what it is to be a leader, their power, and kind of how to know when you've been given the leadership title, the question becomes, okay, that's cool, awesome. How do I build respect, trust, and goodwill? Super easy, also kind of hard, because when I look at individuals, most people don't know how to do this or are too lazy to do what they need to do to become leaders. That's as simple as that. The first one is obviously just keep your word. Just keep your flipping word. Like, I know this is hard. How do I know this is hard? Because the amount of people that say they're going to do something and then they don't do it is shockingly high. Accountability is at an all-time low within our society. However, if you can just keep your word, my God, you're ahead of the population. You're easily within the top 10% of the population, which is depressing to think about, but it's obviously kind of true. I mean, just think about your own friends and family. How often do they keep their word when you ask them to do something or when they say they're going to do something for you? But that's neither here nor there. If you can keep your word, it shows them that, hey, you are trustworthy. You are somebody to be trusted and possibly somebody to be respected. The next thing is I need you to have the other people best interest at heart. Too often people get harpooned or they end up like just stabbing themselves on their own dagger because they think only of themselves. Let me think only of me and how I can get ahead in life. Cool. Awesome. However, your power comes from other people. They are going to give you their power so you can do shit with it. Make sense? Which means that if you are not thinking in your people's best interest or the people around you's best interest, guess what? They're not going to like you, which means that if they don't like you, they're not going to listen to you and they're not going to do what you ask them to do, which basically means you essentially can't get anyone to act on your behalf, which means you have no power, which means you are not a leader. Ugh, so frustrating. But you have to remember, when it comes to leadership, you have to believe and be from a point of view that you are doing the good thing and you have people's best interests at heart. This is how you build up respect and also trust. And then the next thing is you need to start providing solutions and directions to those around you. For example, I often have people coming up to me and they say, Adam, I have this problem. I don't know what the hell to do about it. And I'll set them down and say, hey, do you want me to coach you on this? Do you want me to consult you on this? Do you just want me to listen? And it gives them the option to determine, okay, how do I want this solved? And how do I move myself forward? Because by doing that, it shows that, hey, I'm looking at your best interest at heart. I want to see you succeed. 2, it's going to build up that trust in individuals. And 3, it's going to build up huge goodwill because I'm going out of my way to help you. I'm going to help you solve your problem. And if I can help you solve your problem, you're going to look back at me and say, hey, Adam's a pretty good guy. Maybe I should trust him. Maybe I should respect him. Maybe I should look up to him. And that's the thing to remember is We have to be providing solutions and direction to our people, to the people around us, which means that if you want to be a leader in your own friendships group, all you have to do is, 1, start keeping your word. 2, always have your friends' best interest at heart. And 3, start providing solutions to their problems. And kind of keep in mind that if they are kind of directionless, start providing them a direction. Now, this is the most important thing. And this is the thing people screw up all the time. There's a secret 4th step that nobody really wants to talk about, but it is critical because I cannot tell you how many times I've watched people harpoon themselves because they did not listen to the 4th step and they didn't do it appropriately. And that's time. You have to take things slow when it comes to leadership. It takes time to build trust, goodwill, and respect. This isn't something we can do overnight. I'm sorry to tell you this. I cannot tell you how many eager beavers I've seen that get out in the world and they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to start leading my friendship group. This is really bad for individuals that first get into leadership coaching and they start working with me. And then they say, hey, I just need to start leading everywhere I can. It's like, no, stop it. This is how you screw yourself over because you haven't built up any of the trust, goodwill, or respect. And you have to do this slowly. It takes time, which means that we don't want to jump in the deep end ASAP. We have to be friendly with people. We have to ask questions. We have to build rapport. We have to do essentially do what we say we're going to do. Because if we immediately get in there and start telling people what to do and having them act on our behalf, they're going to screw us over. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen it happen. Do not do it. Take your time and you'll know that the timing's right and you're officially a leader because again, what are they going to do? They're going to do as you say. You're going to ask them to do something and they're going to do it because again, your power comes from other people acting on your behalf. But 2, people are going to congregate around you. They just want to be around you. 3, they're going to consult you when it comes to problems or issues. And 4, they're going to listen to you and they're not going to interrupt you because they respect you. When you hear all that, congratulations, you're a leader. Awesome. Now we can be a little bit more forceful. But at the beginning, we need to take it slow. Simmer down. Simmer down. And the thing I need you to remember, this is something people forget, is that the people in your life, they are adults. They're adults. Oh, some of you might be 16 or 15, and in which case the people around you are probably not adults, but for the majority of the population, the people around you, they are adults. They have done things worthy of respect, which means that if you want to get respected, you need to respect them. 3, these are adults, and they understand when you're being fake, which means that it's critically important that you be authentic and genuine to the people around you. You need to honestly come from a good place when it comes to helping people out and putting them first above your own because people can tell when you're being fake. I can tell when you're being fake. Don't do it. And then 4, always keep in mind that these people are watching you. They are watching you. They are judging you, which means that if you start slipping up on your actions, if you start being selfish and greedy, people are watching. They're going to see this, and it's going to damage your reputation. You don't want this. Anyone can be a leader at the end of the day. What's important is that when you are a leader, if you want to be someone who is leading in your life, you need to be providing that direction. You need to be uplifting people. You need to be inspiring them, and you need to be moving forward yourself. And if you can do that, if you can help those out around you, if you can garner that trust and respect, then congratulations. You're a leader. You are a leader. You're not a manager. Those are different. You're a leader. and that is somebody worthy of respect and admiration. If you're struggling in leadership, whether it's at work or in your own personal life, or you're somebody who wants to become a leader themselves, please reach out for my free 4-week coaching program, where we'll sit down with you, help you understand your larger goal and who you want to become as a leader, and start breaking that down into easily manageable steps. Again, feel free to visit my website at www.seeingthelead.com and book your free coaching session today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with an individual that could also use this information. Otherwise, I'm going to see you in the next episode. Cheers.